Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FiTT Show. Financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby Purnell Kinzer,
And I'm Thomas Doty.
and we are the FiTT Show, helping our people get their finances in shape. Welcome, everybody. We had a hiatus last week, had a technical difficulty, but we are back with you. We hope you're joining us today around the country and around the world. As usual, thank you for joining us. We are a show where we provide financial literacy and financial education information. Hopefully, you can use it to manage your personal finances and help grow your wealth and even generational wealth. We are not financial advisors. Just want to remind people of that. If you do have that particular need or service, you need to go and get with a qualified financial advisor. And like we said, we hope that they will be qualified so they will have a fiduciary responsibility. But we do not do that. We just provide information that you can apply. And it's, like we taking the high macro look at it as opposed to getting into specific individual situations. And like we always tell you all, please make sure that you make sure you have somebody who's qualified. And there's no one size fit all, is what I'm trying to say. So if you need personal individual information, please seek that from a financial advisor. But the information you give you, it can be useful. And you can take it to financial advisors and go deeper into your situation. Just want to make sure y'all know that. Another little, it's just what we call administrative. We'd like for you to click on the like button and the heart button as much as you can, because that gives us more exposure to more people on social media. That's how this works in Facebook. And also, we like for you to place any comments in the comment box, because that actually exponentially multiplies us to more people. And by the way, we're in the virtual studio in Bowie, Maryland, Dotes in South Carolina, on the border of Charlotte, North Carolina. But we make this interactive. And how we do that is the comment box. If you have a question about anything we said, if you have a comment about anything we said, or you have a topic you'd like for us to cover, or just a question about something in general, if we can fit it in, if it pertains to the show, we'll do it. If not, we'll let you know. We'll get back to you. But that's how we do it to make this interactive. We can. So use the comment box as much as you can, please, because that actually, like I said, it actually helps us reach more people, because that's how it works. So now I got the administrative stuff out the way. Doug, how are you doing today, bro?
And I'm happy to be alive, my brother. I try to enjoy every day.
Well, I am so glad that you're happy, but I'm even more happy that you're alive. Because there's a lot going on in the world, though.
Yeah, it is.
And everybody wants to know what's going on with the stock market.
Oh, man.
So let's get into it, Dope.
It is really crazy, Bob.
No, don't tell us that. Give us some good news.
But show the chart. Let's get talking about one of my big holders took a big hit this today, as a matter of fact. Yeah, as you can see, the S&P. Now this is a 2-week time frame. Remember, because we weren't here on the 22nd, so this is representing what's happened in 2 weeks. So S&P is up slightly, NASDAQ's up slightly. Look down at Microsoft. Microsoft is only showing 17 points. What's missing here is that up until today, Microsoft was it was crazy high. It was up to 482. So I think it dropped something like 48 points today. Okay, does that math work? No, it had to be over 500, right? No, 48 and 34 is what, Bob? 82? Yes, 82. My math is good. Yeah, 482.
Right.
And so it today, it dropped 48 points, and which hurt. It hurt my heart. But And the reason it did, they announced earnings, they beat all the estimates on earnings. But where the fear came in, and this is where a lot of investors are moving money out of the, let's call it the AI stocks and putting it into, let's call it the general stocks. And they announced earnings, but what scared the investors was how much money they're investing in AI and how little revenue they have to show for that. Now, Microsoft made the conscious decision to invest more in their long-term future as opposed to trying to get their stock price up now. And so I think that was a strategic decision they made. The Wall Street didn't like it, and it punished them tremendously today. Like I said, a 48-point drop today. And how I feel about it, I'm thinking about buying some more. If it stays around this level for another day or two, I may buy some more. And I still think it's a great company. I think they're going to do quite well. I think this was a good decision they made, and we will see. But it wiped out something like 357 trillion of market value, which is just absolutely crazy when you think about how much money was lost today. A $357 billion market wipeout. That's how much money was lost on that stock. And that's the most since NVIDIA had a bad day. It's their highest, it's like a 10% drop. It's their highest in like since 2020. So it was considerable, a lot of money. I'm still holding. I still think they'll be okay. Apple's up for the 2-week period. They announced earnings, I think, after close, and their iPhone sales are going through the roof. So it might see a little more uptick on that tomorrow. NVIDIA's hanging in. They went up 8 for the 2-week period. I think they got a bump because they're now allowed to sell chips to China. Google continues to roll. If you look at all the stocks, it's actually up the highest year to date. And Pfizer's pretty much flat. It's up a little bit year to date only because it's up a point. But you notice there's three stocks that I sold: United Healthcare, Corning, and what was the third one, Bob? United Palantir. And there's a story there. I decided on Monday to sell United Healthcare. And I sold it at $348 a share. I bought it at $301 a share. So I'd made $4,700 on that stock in about 4 or 5 months. And at night, I happened to look and see what the stock had changed. In aftermarket trading, it was down 30 points. And I said, phew, I'm glad I sold that stock. Well, the next day, the stock dropped 69 points from the previous day close. And I'm like, I sent a note to Bob. I said, man, did I luck up on this one? They always say it's better to be lucky than good.
Exactly.
And I had no fundamental reason for selling it other than I didn't see the changes coming about with them cleaning up some of the mess they had with rejecting all those claims. So I decided to sell it. Plus, things are so shaky. I wanted to get my hands on more cash, and that made a little bit of money off of it, and I was pretty happy. So it dropped. I sold it. I'm really happy.
How much did you invest in it, though?
I put about 30 grand. I bought it at 301. I bought 100 shares at 301, so $30,100, and I sold it for $34,800. So I made $4,700. Now,
so that's approximately a 15% return.
Is that 15%?
Mm-hmm. I put it at about 4,500. I might have been a little bit high or low. I thought you said 4.
It's around about. It's okay. Yeah,
that's a good return. 15% is a good return.
Well, if you look at it in a 4-month period, it's even higher. Because you look at the annual. That's
right. Exactly.
4 months, that's pretty good.
You're right. You got the point.
Palantir, about that one, it's 70, and I think I sold it at 169 or something like may have been 170. So I had a couple hundred shares. So I made pretty good penny on that one. And I sold that because, again, I just figured I made my money. I done really, really well. Stock more than doubled. I'm not going to be greedy. So I got out.
So dope.
Yes, sir.
So the question would be, right? Because this is always the question when you're cashing out on a stock. Now, what are you going to do with that cash?
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. And the third stock I sold was Corning. And that was one I bought at 85, sold at 94. So I made about $900 in a few months, which is still pretty good. But again, I'm just not feeling good about where the market is going. So to answer your question, Bob, I'm going to sit on cash for a little while. I may buy another 100 shares of Microsoft just because I just believe in that company and I think they're going to do well. They beat revenue again. They didn't make the money Wall Street thought they should make on the AI related items. But like I said, they made a conscious effort to invest in their long-term growth. They're putting the chips into where they can make money in the long term. So, excuse me, that's one thing I may look at. But with all the craziness in the market, there ain't nothing ever wrong with having cash.
Cash is king.
Nothing ever wrong with having cash. So
cash is king.
I'll sit on the sidelines for a little while. If I do buy something, I'll let you guys know. And now the ones I'm keeping, Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, Google, I'm not selling those unless something crazy happens. And Pfizer, I'm holding on because, again, I'm making a 7% dividend, which is better than I could make in the money market. I just didn't have that same confidence in those other three stocks that I sold. So I'm glad I did. I'll sit on cash for a while.
So, Dope, where are you going to park that cash?
I just put it in the money market for now.
And money markets is getting about what, 4?
3.5, between 3.5 and 4.
Okay, but you're not putting it in no traditional savings account.
Oh hell, no! I don't even have a traditional savings account. So no.
Right.
Yeah. And, okay, put up my other chart. I wanted to continue to remind people.
Hold up, before you go there, though. Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do it after. I just want to say before you go there, right quick, I just want to give people the gold and silver stats because a lot of people have been following me on that. Gold is over $5,000. It's $5,446 an ounce. It's up $89 an ounce today. And silver is taking off though, and silver is up to $117 an ounce. Just up $2 a day, but that has been like just really dragging for about at least 10 years. It was staying low around $20, $23, and now it's at $117 a share. But go ahead, Dope.
And speaking of gold, I don't know if you guys remember last April 15th, I bought a gold fund from Fidelity. And I put my Roth in there. That fund has tripled in less than a year.
Wow.
You heard that right. I put $8,000 in for myself, $8,000 in for my wife. So 16 grand. Right now, that's worth each of them is worth about 25,000. So I put in $8,000, got 25. So in total, I put in 16. It's now worth 50, which is just crazy money. Crazy. Wow. And that's a gold fund. So it's not just it's gold, but it's a stock fund by Fidelity.
Right.
And I'm glad I bought it.
So Dope,
yes,
I put in a mutual fund, a growth mutual fund with Fidelity about maybe 2.5 years ago, maybe going on 3, and put about 19,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't check it today, but yesterday it was at 71,000.
Yeah, man, it's hard to go wrong in this bull market. It really is. It's hard not to make money. Now, you're gonna have situations like Microsoft that's gonna come up, and so you got to be willing to accept that, and that's just kind of how it goes. But I'm gonna tell you the name of that fund in case anybody's I'm not
Yeah.
recommending it, but
just throw it out there when you got it right. But no, so you want to go there? Let me do the crypto first.
I was going to do the pin number.
Well, I had it in the third position, so
Okay, go ahead.
okay, I'll go through this right quick. So cryptocurrency is taking a beating. It's down $329 billion, 10%, the market cap for crypto total. Though the Bitcoin, and these, once again, like Doe said, this was the close 2 weeks ago when we last talked to you all. So this is 2 weeks ago close. From 2 weeks ago, it's down $11,475. A Bitcoin is down from 95,000 to $84,264, down 12%. Ethereum, the smart contract, is down 15%. And the stable coins are still holding. Number 3 is Tether, which is USDT. Binance is still holding, it's down 7%. And Ripple, XRP, which they were looking to make that, they were talking about regulating that. That's down 13%. And then Solana, which used to be in the 6th position, it went down. It was overtaken by the stable coin, USDC. And it's back, stable coins are back. Supposedly, each cryptocurrency is backed by $1. But, they say some of it is $1 and some of it is assets. But unlike the other cryptocurrencies, not backed by anything. And that's why it doesn't surprise me that stable coin had moved into the 6th place, because they're looking to start regulating stable coins. So I can see the what they call the consumer sentiment might be heading that way. But that's the crypto market, though. But I can't believe the Bitcoin dropped $11,000, man. But you know what? Tomorrow it can go up $12,000. Crazy. Remember, it's about the long play. Or if you want to get out, just make sure you know what the platforms, how to get out, because all cryptocurrencies can't be turned into the dollar cash. Some of them you got to go, to another country and to get it cash and come around. So make sure you know what platforms you are. Everybody know how to get in, but most people don't know how to exit. With that, Dope, let's get into the next subject.
Yeah, before we get into our topic for today, I'm always worried about you guys getting money stolen from you. And I'm going to, and this is actually a recommendation. Well, I guess it is. But you can go into the IRS and sign up to have a PIN. Okay, and what that does, that helps protect you from somebody else filing a tax return under your name. Okay, and that's happened to me. So this isn't something that's one in a gazillion, and it is a pain to correct, because you got to get a police report. You got to try to contact somebody at the IRS. You got to talk to the FTC. You have to work with all the 3 credit bureaus, and it's really easy to do. And the reason you ought to do it, first of all, you should file your taxes as soon as you can. And that's also going to eliminate somebody else filing your taxes. But getting an identity protection PIN, you go to this website that Bob's highlighted here, irs.gov/IPPIN, to get started. And you go through a process where you'll have to upload your driver's license, or you can use some other means of verification if you like. And then it takes about maybe 10 minutes. How long did it take you? Did you do it, Bob?
No, I'm going to do it after I get off here. I got
it won't take you over 10 minutes, and you'll get your PIN that day. And then every year, early in January, that's usually the first thing I get in regards to doing my taxes for the prior year, is my PIN number from the IRS. And this will give you peace of mind that if you don't get your taxes done early, that it will be very, very difficult for somebody to file their taxes under your name. And I'm always on you guys about getting your taxes done early. And there's a bunch of reasons why you should. If you get a refund, you obviously get it faster the sooner you file. Okay? If you need to hire a professional because everybody procrastinates. It's easy to get an appointment with a professional now versus trying to wait until April 15th. April 15th when everybody's trying to get it done. As I just mentioned, it reduces the level of scammers if you get yours filed and out of the way. If you got any errors or any forms you got to go back and try to find from last year, you got time to do it. You can get yourself on track for 2026. If you get a big refund, you might want to cut that down, get the money in your pocket each month. Or if you owe a lot, you can make adjustments to your W-4 so you don't owe as much next year. Okay. And it's if you need to call the IRS, it's a lot easier to reach them now than wait until April when everybody's doing their taxes at the same time. So get it done, get it out the way, get it behind you. Make sure you're set up for 2026. If you get a refund, you get your hands on it very, very fast. So that's my scammer report for today. Everybody should go out and get that pen so you'll have a little bit of peace of mind as far as nobody filing taxes under your name. So that's my public service announcement for today.
IRS.gov, IPPIN.
Gonna get backslash.
You do it.
Forward, is that forward slash or backslash? I always get those mixed up.
This forward slash. It's a forward slash though. Yeah.
Okay.
Forward slash, backslash. It goes this way.
Okay. But get it done. Get it done. Get your pen. One less thing to worry about. Somebody filing taxes under your name.
And like we said this before about fraud. I mean, it's so difficult these days. I mean, there's so many schemes, you all, and it's almost like you can't stop them, but you can prevent them. You know, you can put up and make it harder for them, and that's where we try to give you those tools, so that you can. You know.
And one more reminder, Bob. Every family should have a code word that they use to let other family members know that if they get a call, it's a legitimate call, because people can go on Facebook, find out who your grandkids are, then go on TikTok, copy their voice, call you up with their voice and tell you they need money. Okay? So make sure everybody in your family knows the code word. So if that happens, they got it. That's like a PIN or a private number. So because my family do you have one in your family, Bob?
Oh yeah. Our code name is Shake Your Booty. Shake Your Booty.
Okay, but seriously,
seriously.
Get a code word for your family. And so that could be the last line of defense. If somebody,
that's a good one though. We don't have one, obviously. That's a good one. I didn't think about
2 things you got to do today.
And remember, you can't stop these people from trying, but you can prevent them. You know, and whenever you can get a tool, like we tell you all about your credit, freezing your credit on all 3 credit bureaus, do it, dog, because I mean it is out there, and dope. You said it was. Tell them what the gyrations you had to go through when they stole your tax refund.
Oh my God! First, you got to call the cops, get a police report, and that was one year I was getting a refund, which of course it was held up because couldn't get my return filed. Then I had to go through all 3 credit bureaus, put fraud alerts on there, and that automatically tells you somebody has all your information. So, of course, you're worried about all the other things they could do with that information. You got to go through the FTC, the IRS. It was a royal pain in the butt. And
right.
It's not a fear, but it's a feeling. If you've been robbed, it's a feeling that it's hard to describe. You feel like you've been what's the word? The right word. I don't want to say the wrong word, but it feels like
but I know what you violated. Violated.
That's perfect word. I feel like you've been, and it's so uncomfortable, and it's hard to relax for a little while after that happens. And as Bob says, there's nothing 100% to stop it, but these little things we're talking about doing, you can do those if you get off your butt and do it. Create a PIN, have a code word for the family. Don't answer the phone if you don't know who it is. Don't respond to emails if you don't know who it is. Another good one they're doing now is sending you a package with some garbage in it, with a code, scan code in there. You scan the code, they get access to your phone. Little things like that. If you ain't expecting a package and you get something, don't open it. If you do open it, don't do anything with the contents inside. These are things you can do to minimize the possibility of you getting scammed.
That's important. Public service announcement by Thomas Doty. Yes, no, thank you, because every week there seems like to be another scam, don't it?
It's crazy. It's great. We're having the police come back to our little subdivision here and do another report on scam. They did one maybe 3 years ago, and they told us, this is no joke. They said $3 million had been reported scammed out of our subdivision. Think about that. Now, true, it's an over 55 subdivision, and there are 800 houses in here, and most people down here are doing pretty good and probably got a little bit of money. But and that's what was reported. And so the number is probably way higher than that, because most people are too embarrassed to admit that they got scammed.
Right.
So a lot of it goes unreported. So these little things we're saying, it ain't gonna guarantee that you don't get scammed, but it can greatly reduce the possibility.
And when you do, man, it's a pain headache trying to go back and, prove that it wasn't you. So do what you can. I'm telling you all, I know a bunch of you all on there hasn't done it yet. Just want to remind you on the credit thing, go out there on the websites. You go on the websites. TransUnion might be a little difficult. Sometimes you got to call them, but you can go on the websites and actually it's a toggle button. You just toggle it and turn your credit off. And should you need it, you go back out on the line and just put the toggle on yes if you go on to get a car or a loan. But you got to do it, y'all, because I'm telling you, it's getting crazy out here, and people are just disregarding laws and rules, and people are backdooring people. So just do what you can do.
Yeah. One more thing. It's free to do your credit freeze.
Right.
When you go to Experian, they try to upsell you because they have another word. It's not freeze, but it sounds like freeze, but it's not. You don't have to pay any money to freeze your credit. Okay? Nothing, not a penny. So, and by the way, the name of that fund I bought, it's called the Select Gold Portfolio by Fidelity. The code, the symbol is F like Frank, S like Sam, A like Apple, G like Great, X like my grandson Xander. So FSAGX. And like I said, it has tripled for me since April 15th last year, less than a year. It's just tripled.
And get this straight. We're not recommending you doing it. He's just giving it out there.
I'm telling you what I did.
Or it's information purposes only. We're not recommending that. We
No.
get that straight. But we just want to let you know what that was in case you want to go look at it and track it.
Yeah. But, in case you don't believe me, go back and look at the price on April 15th last year and look at the price today.
And just another a pointer. Fidelity is a great fund. They got low fund fees, expense fees, and so is Vanguard. So those are two good ones. So think about that. So dope. Last 2 weeks ago, we talked about financial trends for 2026. Wait a minute, right quick though. There's a couple of people asking some questions, right? And Garnett says she keeps getting messages about several bank closings. Is this true? I sort of stay a little bit in touch with my inside information at the FDIC on closings, and I don't know if that is true, but I know I talked to my person about a couple of weeks ago, and there just might have been one or two closings. And remember, in 2008 there were 25 closings, and in 1988, the 82 through 89, there was 747. So uh, don't panic, but there have been a few that have been going down, but I'll check back into that. My good man, Michael Graham, uh, player, he wants to know, have diamond prices fallen? I said, oh, I didn't know you went to the bling bling, Mike. Don't know that we didn't follow diamonds, but it'd be interesting because diamonds are in a lot of different major equipments. Diamonds are really not. The reason why gold and silver is going up because a lot of countries are retreating to gold and silver, which a lot of them have gotten off of the gold and silver train and was going with uh, they were getting off that and going with the fiat, like their currencies and letting their currency drop. But now currency like the dollar's been dropping, and so a lot of other countries. And remember, America used to be the currency of trade, but now with all the craziness going on, other people like I think who was it just made a deal with Mexico. It was a big one like India. They just cutting us all out. They not use the dollar. The dollar's taking a big hurt. But anyway, dope. Let's get into the topic, man. Don't fool yourself about money. What is that about, dope?
And it's really funny. Money has a way of showing you how you think. Okay. Sometimes you don't want to admit it. Sometimes you act through a fit of passion. Somebody might risk $100 to make a buck.
Right.
Know? And then they think, okay, I won, but you risked 100. So was that really a smart move? But it's easy for you to look at it and think you're moving ahead, but you may not be understanding the risk involved with that intention. And so we've seen this before, how you think you're on top of things and you think you have everything under control, and you end up buying something because of greed or jealousy, and you disguise it as confidence. Oh, I can afford to do this. I'm able to do this. And people don't understand how the fear of losing money, that never quite goes away. That drives how you think too. And so a lot of people just enjoy the thrill of making a move, And me personally, I don't gamble, but a lot of people like the rush they get from that. And so you don't have to invest, trade, or take risks to get that feeling. It can show up in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different places. For example, how you justify a purchase that you probably shouldn't make, okay? How you might not check the balance on your account before you buy something, or how you promise yourself, I'll buy this, but starting after I buy this, I'll get serious about my money. There's a whole lot of ways of the way you think can affect how you end up financially.
And this is a topic called behavioral economics, dope, that is really taking off these days because, money doesn't just track what we earn and spend. It exposes our habits, our fears, and the stories we tell to stay comfortable, right? And of these stories, small, reasonable, and often well-intentioned, are the lies we really question, Most of us like to believe we're being honest about our finances. We tell ourselves we're responsible, being realistic, and in total control. But the truth, we tell ourselves small, soothing stories about money all the time, though. All the time. It's like that, that little on your shoulder, you got the good devil, the bad devil. We tell ourselves, we like to smooth the edges. We refrain, we delay reality. We delay. They talk about what is it called? The delayed gratification. We also have delayed reality, just long enough to get through the month. And the problem is that we tell these lies. It's that we we actually believe them, and believing them can quickly sabotage your financial health. While we're busy insisting, everything is fine. And we've all been there. We're not trying to point the finger or victimize the victim, but these stories we tell ourselves, they feel harmless and even comforting, even, but really they're not. So tonight we're going to talk about a few ways that we fool ourselves about money that will affect our money. We hope that it will be, helpful to you.
Yeah, and if you recognize yourself in any of these, speak up and let us know. The first one is, I'm rational with money. We want to believe we are. We tell people we are. We tell ourselves that we are. But most money decisions are emotional. They're not based on rational thinking. It could be fear. It could be ego. It could be boredom. It could be optimism. All of these are reasons that you may go out and make a purchase. The key is knowing what the reason that you buy something. Don't lie to yourself and tell yourself you're rational if history tells you that you're not.
And if any of these resonate with you, you put in the comment box, a thumb up. That if it's you, fess up. We fleshing you all out tonight. And I'm going to fess my own self out. The second one, though, is this doesn't really count. No, is that the second one? Yeah. The second one is this doesn't really count because it's a one-time thing. Now, how many times we told us that time? One-time expense has a funny way of happening every month. Like those treats or those emergencies or even trips. And ignoring them doesn't make them disappear. And I know I've experienced this before, right? And it's like they just pop up and you're like, oh man, I know this won't happen again and I can make it up. But that's another good one though.
Here's one that I've been guilty of several times throughout my life. And that lie is, I deserve this. And the truth is, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Using deserve as a strategy that blurs the line between self-care and self-sabotage.
Wow.
And the decision maker is your bank account. Okay. So understand any decision you make has long-term effects on your bank account.
Yeah, another word for this is called confirmation bias, though. We convince ourselves to do stuff. Hey, the number 4 thing we tell ourselves, I'll start being serious about money when I make more. Now, this is a classic deferral tactic. More income feels like the solution. I know for a lot of people, but habits, not paychecks, win in this race. If money leaks now, it'll leak later, even faster, So make sure you be honest with yourself. And like I said, it's only a delayed tactic, And we think money is the solution to all our problems. And no question, we got bills and money is important. But a lot of times it's our mindset that is more important. And our decisions that we make with our behavior is what drives our money problems. So be aware.
The next lie, and this is one, again, I was guilty of when I had a couple kids in college and a couple kids in private high schools, and you had 6 people living on one income. I had no idea where my money's going. But that lie is, I basically know where my money goes. And see, the truth is, knowing in theory isn't the same as knowing in detail. And the gap between the two is where budgets end up going to crap, okay? You got to know where your money's going. You can tell yourself you do, but if you do, you have it on paper. You know what's coming up. There's going to be emergencies. I'm not saying emergencies don't happen, but you basically knows what comes in and what goes out.
Yeah, that's a big one, though, because we try to hold it in our head, right? The next payment or thing, but no, put it down on paper. Put it on paper. Next one is future me will figure it out. Future is not a wizard. They have the same job, the same bills, but less time and energy. Pushing problems forward never solves anything. There's an old saying though that goes, not everything we face can we change, but we cannot change anything unless we face it. And that's the whole big thing. Because I know a lot of people get into that rut, get into that hole where you just keeping more debt, and you can't pay off that big credit card bill. But the key is stay hanging there, face what you got to do, and come up like what me and Dote always talk about. Face it, and then come up with a plan to address it and realize, look, you didn't get there overnight. You know what I mean? Just like you didn't get there overnight, you're not going to get out of it overnight. So you got to have patience to get out of it, but also have a plan so that you can meet, that future me that I'm talking about.
Okay. The next lie is another one that the younger me was guilty of several times. And that lie is, if they can do it, I can do it. And truth of the matter is, you don't know anything about that person's situation. Your financial situation is unique to you and only you. You should never compare your situation with somebody else's unless you know everything about them. And so don't base anything you spend on what somebody else has spent.
Another title for that one, though, is Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Worried about what somebody else do. The next one, though, this is I got a couple of friends that it's on this one, and it's called Around the Streets. Betting on the come up. Betting on the come up means you can't base your financial future on things that aren't likely to happen. Like the stock markets continue to go up. It's been going up for 11 straight years. Or bonuses at your job. You can't be counting on that. Or promotion. Or even a potential new job, And a lot of people, and look, don't even start talking about the lotto. Betting on the come up and gambling, going to MGM Grand and the Casino Live in this area, man. And I remember an old guy told me, he said he believed in luck. He said, but he believed you work for your luck. So this one gets a lot of my friends, though, betting on the come up, betting on thinking, things are going to really happen, and they're not.
Yeah, and for every good thing that happens, something's bad is going to happen too.
Dang, though.
True. That's how life works. Okay, let me try to wrap this up. Money doesn't lie, and it doesn't forgive the stories we tell ourselves. When we tell ourselves bullcrap and we use money to make that happen, you're usually going to end up in a pretty bad situation. Money, a decision, a test is in every decision you make. Every excuse, every fear, every habit comes through in how you spend money. The question is not whether we'll make mistakes, it's whether the mistakes we make will be noticed, okay? And a lot of times they are, sometimes they aren't. That means you got to pay attention to how you feel about money, understand your impulses, be honest with yourself, have things documented, have a plan for what you want to do, and do your best to stick to that plan to make sure your money is being used the way you want it to be used.
And the word is discipline. And a lot of people do not like that word. But without discipline, money management is a waste. You got to be disciplined, y'all, because there's so many nice things to be spending money on these days that when we can't, there's so much stuff out there, man. I see online, so many things. That's why we get caught up in some of these scams, because we just want more. And when is enough? But, go ahead, though.
You got to realize a lot of the marketing that goes on is to get you to take money out of your pocket and put it into theirs. It's as simple as that. They create a need that you may not have or may not realize you have, or they put it in your head so they can get money out of your pocket. And that's how you have to look at it. Is this purchase serving me or is it serving the person I'm giving it to? And you really got to ask yourself when you go to spend, especially large sums of money, who is this serving? 1 year from now, who will be better off because I spent this money? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. And as I got older and started asking myself those types of questions and getting away from the comparisons and I deserve this and I'll make it up, then you can really get that discipline. And another way I've heard this whole discipline thing expressed that really sticks with me is choosing your hard. Okay, it's hard to have discipline and save money, but it's a lot harder being broke. It's a lot harder one reason you can't buy because you didn't have discipline to save. So you choose your hard, and the hard of discipline is a lot easier than the hard of being broke. And that comes down to most situations. Who's his name? Nick Saban made that comment about you either going to suffer through the drudgery of being disciplined or the disappointment of not accomplishing what you want, And when you think about it in those terms, it really gets clearer as to forcing you to do what you plan to do. So hopefully that can make it click for you the next time you want to buy something that deep in your heart you don't need to be buying.
Or putting off things that you should be doing. Like I say, we got to face them. So I want to pose a question to everybody who's on today. We gave you eight kind of lies that we tell ourselves about money. Does anybody have any other ones that you want to share for the benefit of the group? Take this moment and share with us because we did about 8. I know there's more than 8 out there, but I know another one though. I know getting influenced, and I don't think this is one that we put down there, or did we? Other people, man. I know some of my friends when we go out, man, and this used to happen at the FDIC, man. We had a per diem, and we all go out because we had this big per diem. Everybody figured, they just could spend the whole per diem. And I didn't drink, but I would go out, and these people would be buying drinks like a month. I'm not even drinking. And when the bill come, they were splitting it like 5 ways, and I'm like, whoa. So look, I caught on to that one real quick, right? So then they start, when we go out on a case, I would make up, say, oh, I'm sorry, I have to go call my wife, or have to go check on my daughter and stuff like that, my son. But man, you can easily get caught up in that one though, because I remember that was the same thing happened when I was overseas. You go out and oh, my turn for a round. Next thing I know, and I wasn't even drinking. It's your turn, Bob. I'm like, wait a minute. But that's one for me. If anybody else want to.
Well, another one is being the big shot. A lot of people think they're the big shot, and they always reach for the bill because they want to impress people with their financial situation. That's another lie that we tell ourselves, that we are that big person. And it's kind of funny when I go out with my kids, how when the bill comes, everybody get alligator arms. Nobody can reach the bill or they look around. But that's another lie you tell yourself, that you're the big wig and you have to impress people. So you spend money that you really shouldn't spend.
Yeah. But but we just want to share something different. And like I say, this falls under the behavioral economics things. We know we give you hardcore specific things to deal with, but this one I think is so important because we really get side from some of the decisions we made. So let's go to the summary and takeaways of the day, because I know they're going to be some good ones, man, because we shared some good ones. And you want to go first, or you want me to go?
I'll go first.
Okay.
You go first. This is your favorite one.
Yeah, exactly. avoid confirmation bias. What I talked about, that you know, I basically, I deserve it. That's what that would come under with those say. I deserve it, or I worked hard. I deserve to get that new car, that new Mercedes, even though you know you can't afford the payment. This one gets you like trying to convince yourself to do something, and it could get you in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah. Next one is right up my alley. Know where your money goes. That's the only way you can be successful is knowing where your money goes. You got to have a plan. You got to have some idea of where you want to be, and you have to understand what it's going to take to get there.
Next one is, and this is a big one, though, with our society. Be accountable. Be accountable to you. Another word, be responsible. It is so, so important, man, because, you know, uh, and get an accountability partner. Um, you know, get an advisor. You know, uh, get a partner, accountability partner. If not in a relationship, but if your partner's not that strong, then find somebody or a financial advisor. But you know, we need to be accountable because that's why we sometimes go off the rail and we get caught up in high debt.
And finally, is be real with yourself, and that
Ooh.
understanding that nobody's perfect, and if you know what your problems areas are, put in safeguards so you don't make those kind of mistakes. If you know you're an impulsive buyer, don't keep your credit card with you. You know, if you know you go online and buy things, try to keep your butt offline so you don't do those things. Understand who you are as a person, and then you can create safeguards to keep you from making those little mistakes that set you back.
Yes. So with that, that's our show today. We'd like to thank everybody for being on. We'll be back at you next week, same bat channel, 8 o'clock uh, Eastern Standard Time, and please put in the comment box any other topics you'd like for us to cover. We got some good topics coming for you in 2026. We're going to get into specific money management too, but we really believe that your attitude is really what drives a lot of your money decisions, and we felt it important to talk about this today. Want to shout out to all our people. Thank you now for telling us, giving us a great show. Kitty Cheney, always good. Rodney Madison, L. Madison Sr., the noteexperience.com. He's got a new note out there, you all, that you can participate as um, an investment, a potential alternative investment. Check them out, the noteexperience.com. My good brother Michael Graham, Note, we had a good show. Last week we had two DC guys that one guy played at Notre Dame from DC, another guy played at TCU, and where else did not play? North Texas State. DC guys, man, and they grew up in the neighborhood, dope, man. Some of the most, just about 10, 15 super players like Kenny Carr. Remember Kenny Carr, dope? Did you play against Kenny Carr when we played NC State?
I think you played him the year after I left.
That was the year you left, exactly. Want to say hello to my sister Gloria. Oh, Gloria, glad to see you all, Glo. Congratulations, Gloria is the head trustee for her church now. Go ahead, boo, shakalaka lit, holy Lord. Hallelujah. And Garnett Dickens and the great Linda Sy, my other sister. Good to see you, Linda. And hey, y'all, where's Noli? I bet you Noli fell asleep. But that's everybody on the show. Thank you for being on. And don't. The quote of the week is, you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
I like that.
Always impressed when you actually say you like it, don't. It makes me feel good. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good week, and we'll see you next week. And good health to everybody. Thank you, Glow, telling us a great show. Thank you. And everybody have a great week. Remember, y'all, give us some topics that you want to talk about. These are the things that we hear about and we talk about them, but let us know specifically from you. Is there a topic or something that might happen or investment you need to know about? Please put it in the comment box, and we would definitely not this show. We will get it for the next show. 9 times out of 10, me and Dope would know something about it. Remember, go out there, IRS, and get your PIN number so nobody can steal your.
Get your PIN number.
Yeah. Last year, Dope, if Mud stole my daggone taxes, they would have had to pay. We've been over it, but we've been.
No, Bob. They don't. They go in and put fake information in.
Oh, that's even better. That's even better to know too, though. So even if you are paying, they can still take your stuff.
They put phony information in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, though.
Oh yeah, it's sad, but
yeah. So do it, y'all. Go out there and take that step. All right. See y'all next week. Love you all. Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace.